Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho. We're coming to you this Wednesday, the 22nd day of October, bringing you Morning Matters because your mornings matter. Let's get to the stories that matter today. Former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV has filed an updated graft and plunder charges complaint against former President Duterte and Senator Bongo over an alleged 6.95 billion pesos in anomalous Davao infrastructure projects. Senator Go dismissed the case as a diversion from the real culprits of the flood control fiasco. Senate President Tito Soto is certain Senator Ping Lacson will make a comeback as chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee. Soto believes Lacson still hasn't finished business to handle within the committee. And with corruption being a hot topic, the importance of releasing a politician's statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth, or SALN, is highlighted. But is an annual disclosure truly enough? Well, we will discuss that later with former Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission Chairman Greco Belhica. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda. A new political clash has erupted between former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV and Senator Bongo. Trillanes claims Go and his family profited from multi-billion peso government contracts under the Duterte administration. But Go has dismissed the allegations as mere distraction. Here's the report.
Former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV alleged that Senator Bongo sent several emissaries to persuade him to withdraw the plunder case he filed before the Office of the Ombudsman.
Problema kasi ni Bongo, alam nyo, ilang conduit yung pinadala niya sa akin para aregluhin, para hindi siya isama. Pero hindi niya ako mabili ng pera niya eh. Di ba? Tapos yung mga sinasabi niya may mga ginawa akong mali. Alam mo, 6 years sila naghalokay sa akin. 30 cases yung final nila sa akin, mga libel cases, mga harassment cases lang. Ni isang corruption case wala sila nakita sa akin. Di ba?
Trillanes challenged Go to respond to the allegations, saying he no longer enjoys the protection he once had.
A total of 200 contracts ang naibigay niya sa tatay at kapatid niya. Yan po ang facts. Ito, hindi niya mapagkakaila na hindi pwedeng nakakuha itong mga ito nang wala siyang impluensya. At kahit nasabihin niyang wala siyang impluensya, the law defined it na pagka nasa posisyon ka ng gobyerno na maaring ma-impluensya doon sa mga kontrata na yan.
The former senator said Go's family business grew during the Duterte administration, allegedly bagging 7 billion pesos worth of public works contract. Trillanes also named former President Rodrigo Duterte as co-principal in the alleged plunder scheme.
Kailangan po kasing isama siya kasi integral siya doon sa commission of the crime. So, part siya doon as a co-principal ni Bongo kasi hindi mangyari yung krimen kung hindi sa participation niya. So, ano yan? Principal by direct participation.
Trillanes further tagged Go as the mastermind behind the flood control anomaly, citing contractors and officials who allegedly benefited from government projects. But for Go, Trillanes is only diverting public attention away from the real flood control issue.
Tumbukin po yung dapat tumbukin. Nasa na yung mga dapat kasuhan sa issue ng flood control? Nasa na? Bakit walang mga pinangalanan na malalaking tao? Yung mga buhaya. Ba't pilit yung pinagtatakpan?
Go insisted he never used his position to favor his family's businesses.
You are barking at the wrong tree. Pilit binubuhay para lang mapinturahan po ako ng maitim para siya po ang magmukhang maputi. My conscience is clear. Unlike him, panlabas o panloob, pati konsensya niya madumi.
Go said he will cooperate with the Ombudsman's investigation in hopes for a fair process. Ombudsman Justice Crispin Remulla confirmed that the complaint filed by Trillanes will undergo standard evaluation procedures.
Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson is poised to make a comeback as chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee, and Senate President Tito Soto is certain of it. Here is the report.
100%. That's how certain Senate President Tito Soto is that Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson will return as chairman of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. According to Soto, Lacson was informed that several senators and even the public want him back at the helm of the committee. He believes Lacson still has unfinished business in the Blue Ribbon Committee.
Marami pang hindi nauungkat. At kung ito'y makakatulong, ang tingin niya siguro, mas makakatulong ito sa ICI at doon sa Ombudsman and the Department of Justice. Ako, tingin ko si Senator Lacson, 100% na babalik bilang Blue Ribbon Committee Chair.
Lacson earlier said that both he and Soto should be ready for the consequences should he return to the post, including the possible withdrawal of support from some senators and even the risk of Soto losing the Senate presidency.
Tingin ko kasi nakabackup dito yung karamihan ng mga kasama namin sa Senado at nakabackup din sa amin ng publiko eh. Basta ako, kahit anong pwesto ibigay sa akin sa Senado, magtatrabaho ko.
For his part, Senator J.V. Ejercito, a member of the majority, said he sees no problem with Lacson returning to the Blue Ribbon chairmanship.
Kasi walang takers din eh, no? And at the same time, I have to na parang ako pinapagbinta na sinasabing ako naging factor, wala, no? Actually kami sa Lacson, nag-uusap kami naman yan. Parang na-clarify naman ni SP Soto yun, no? Nung nagkaroon kami ng caucus. Nagkaroon lang kasi nagkagulatan na siguro na hindi nagkaintindihan, pero it was clarified.
Lacson, however, raised concerns asking what value the chairmanship would hold if the majority bloc loses control to the minority led by Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Cayetano responded that there's no need to involve the minority in what he described as a family matter within the Senate majority. He emphasized that Lacson's resignation stemmed from dissatisfaction among members of the majority, not from any action by the minority bloc. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
Relatives of the missing sabong enthusiast attended the final day of the preliminary investigation at the Department of Justice. They are hoping that prosecutors will rule in their favor so murder, kidnapping, and serious illegal detention charges can finally be filed in court. The camp of businessman Atong Ang, tagged as the alleged mastermind, meanwhile asked that the case be returned to the CIDG for reinvestigation.
We are hopeful, and we are quite confident actually that we are hopeful that the case will be rebundled back to CIDG for investigation in view of the fact that the evidences submitted do not have enough credibility.
The Philippine Coast Guard continues its search for the remains of the missing sabongeros in Taal Lake. From July to October 12, a total of 887 human bone fragments have been recovered, but DNA results to match them with the families have yet to be released.
Hindi po natin kailangan tinunta yung DNA evidence. Okay, it may add to whatever evidence we have now, but if the assessment by the panel of prosecutors is that there is sufficient evidence to proceed to trial.
Senator Rodante Marcoleta once again grilled the Department of Justice during a budget hearing yesterday. That is for requiring contractors Sara and Curly Vizcaya to return their supposed ill-gotten wealth first before they can be evaluated for the Witness Protection Program. Marcoleta insisted that there is no direct requirement for restitution in the Witness Protection Act.
Wala namang nilalagay na restitution, ipipilit nyo para lang hindi sila ma-cover ng program. So ano mangyayari sa batas natin? You will insist on an opinion supplanting the requisites categorically provided by law. Ay hindi talaga makakapaprocess. So pinipili nyo yung gusto nyo i-process.
However, Justice Undersecretary Jesse Andres said that the Vizcaya's application for the Witness Protection Program can only be granted if they have satisfied their legal and civil obligations. But Marcoleta stood firm, saying only the court has the authority to set the requirements for witness protection.
Did they admit to you na sila ay nangulimbat ng ganito karaming pera? Hindi ko dinidepensa ng mga tao ngayon. Opo. Ginawa ko lamang yon doon sa nalalaman ko na ma-identify natin ang pinaka-mastermind dito. Yun lang, wala nang iba. Kung gusto nyong ang ma-identify, puro butete at saka sapsap, bahala na kayo sa buhay nyo.
And coming right up, former PACC Chairman Greco Balita urges public officials to release SALNs covering at least the last 10 years. Balita stressed that officials should provide more than just their latest or current filings. That and more when Morning Matters returns. Keep it here. Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho, and here at Morning Matters, we talk about the most pressing issues and give you the context behind the headlines. Former Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission Chairman Greco Balita is urging public officials to release their SALNs covering at least 10 years and not just their latest or current filings. Balita argued that releasing only one-year SALN is pointless as it provides no meaningful basis for comparison. He said a 10-year disclosure would allow the public to determine whether officials have accumulated unexplained wealth during their time in government service. He also stressed that public service is a position of trust, reminding government officials that they are there to serve the people. To further discuss this, we are joined by former Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission Chairman Greco Balita himself. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Matters. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, good morning, Gretchen, and good morning to everyone.
All right. You proposed the releasing of a 10-year period of SALN declarations. What data are you hoping to find there? And 10 years, I mean, anong makikita natin dito?
Well, of course, first of all, Gretchen, that is the bare minimum when we examine. When we were in the PACC, that is the bare minimum when you examine the SALN. That's for a table investigation, just a basis of comparison. This is done by every investigator, yung talagang marunong. I think the NBI does the same, so that you will see how much or how little or did the wealth grow in position commensurate to the salary that he is receiving or whatever sources of income an official may have. So 10 years is the minimum. But you can also go from the time that he started from public office. So from there, you will see whether his wealth increase commensurate to the salary or the pay that he is given, whether he is in business or not. Kasi po, what's important with the SALN naman is a declaration. So you will be held accountable to your declaration. It's not important whether you're rich or not. What's important is whether you declared it or not.
Ito nga po, may mga lumabas na naiilan na mga SALN, mostly from the opposition. We are seeing the SALNs of from Akbayan, Kabataan Party List, from Senator Risa Hontiveros. Ano po nga inyong masasabi sa mga nirelease nila? Ay tingin niyo po ba these reflect their real declarations, their real status?
Well, what I only saw was what came out in the news. I think this was 1 year SALN lang lahat. So no basis for comparison. Kasi you may have started with very little, Whether you start with a lot or start with a little, it doesn't matter. What's important is where do you compare it. Maybe you started with 1 million 10 years ago, pero you have 10 million now. So where'd you get it? If you're getting 300,000 salary a month, and then you're spending how much also? 200, 300,000 also a month for your family. So where did you get that 10 million? Or maybe you inherited it from someone, maybe from a sale of property, pero your SALN will define it. Or maybe you could have gotten it from, a shady business transaction. Table investigation pa lang ito, ma'am. Iba pa ho yung validation ng lifestyle check. Kasi there are properties that you use or that's yours but it's not written on your name, di ba? Or there are properties that you don't declare pero it's actually yours because you use it. You say that you have one or two cars in your name pero you have actually 10 cars in your garage, in your house, or spread all over because it's named after everyone. So iba pa ho yung lifestyle check. You know, so, and you know, so you can say now, well, I only have 500,000, 200,000, 1 million, 10 million in my bank. Pero that's because you put your money in your house, you know. You put safe. Ngayon, hindi na nga uso masyado safe ngayon dahil from what we're hearing, we hear congressmen buy houses just to, you know, put their money there.
Bahay,
So,
condominium,
yun po.
life insurance, usually cash transactions, mga sasakyan, dyan na nga po dumadaan yan. Ano? And just curious, no, you were appointed chairman of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission back in 2021 by former President Rodrigo Duterte. What were you able to access then? Because under the former ombudsman, ito po ay kinakailangan ng consent bago ma-release yung mga SALN. Pati ang lifestyle check, hindi na rin pinayagan. Ano? What were you able to have eyes on?
Well, yun nga ang naging problema. That happened after we conducted the lifestyle check. That's the thing. And when we filed the case against a congressman, very high-ranking I don't want to mention the name anymore. He's died na eh. You know, pero we conducted the lifestyle check and nakita namin yung explained wealth doon. And after that, naghigpit na ang Congress sa pag-release ng SALN. That's when their memo came out na any congressman SALN that will be released must pass through the approval of the House. Tapos si ombudsman also, former ombudsman also banned the conduct of the lifestyle check because we were conducting a lifestyle check. In fact, when I was, I think the first resolution I passed in PACC when I was appointed commissioner first and then chairman at the end. In 2017, the first resolution I passed is to conduct a lifestyle check among all government officials. So we started collecting SALNs by that because of that. But then the former ombudsman had a different perspective and banned the lifestyle check or the securing of SALN. In fact, and he was a higher investigating officer than us, so we had no more access with SALNs after that.
But this tightening nga po, nagsimula po ito no, during the time of the former president and there seems to be an 8-year black hole on these SALNs. Marami pong hindi nakakaalam. I mean, headlines po yun noong mga nakaraang taon na wala pa rin nakakaalam kung gaano kayaman ang dating Pangulo. Hindi po ba kayo nabahala na si Duterte ang naging dahilan po nitong paghihigpit?
Gretchen, mali ho yung news na yan. Ombudsman ang nagbawal, hindi presidente. We were under the office of the president. We were conducting the lifestyle check among government officials. Si ombudsman, the ombudsman is a separate office from the office of the president. Siya ang nag-ban. He is the highest investigating office. Now, ang office of the president itself is higher than the PACC. That's who the PACC reports for. So it's beyond our jurisdiction. But everyone under them, with the presidential appointing, yun ang jurisdiction ng PACC. So, mali po yung sinasabi niyo ngayon. Yung sinabi ni Presidente na ayaw niyang ilabas ang SALN niya, parang gano'n, is because, you know, it's a political decision, di ba? Pero, which is not within our jurisdiction. Politicians were not in the jurisdiction of the PACC, just presidential appointees. Kasi in one point, if you come to look at it, listening at former ombudsman's statements, sabi niya wini-weaponize daw ang SALN. Well, for politicians medyo, pero for civil service officials, mga appointed officials, Hindi dapat ganon. But then, decision ng opisyal na mas mataas sa akin yun. So, hindi naman namin hawak yun. Pero I maintain the position that public office is a public trust. Lahat talaga dapat alam natin ang simula hanggang katapusan ng kanilang yaman para ma-gauge natin yung ang tawag nito kung sila ba nagpayaman sa kanilang pwesto. Pangalawa, gusto ko lang palang balikan, yung mga naglabas ng SALN are not opposition, they're Makabayan blocks. The Makabayan blocks and the administration are now working together. So hindi na po sila opposition. Well, they will always be opposing anyone who's in power dahil dati na anyway it's politics. I don't want to get into it, but I'm happy that now pwede na naman na buksan ng SALN. Well, yung Congress, ang problema niyan, meron pa rin silang ban sa SALN unless approval nila sa plenary. So until we, number 3, integrity ng SALN, hindi rin naman talaga natin masyadong maasahan dahil marami namang hindi dinedeclare kasi based on declaration yan like
kung
what I
base lang ho
mentioned.
doon,
So,
ano? Oo. Baka
Yeah,
dapat
so for
pati yung
Congress,
sa BIR din, ano? Makita rin natin, side by side yun.
you know what's good to investigate pag Congress, meaning both House of Congress, is not their salary and their salary, but the budget, the pork barrel, and the projects that went through their offices and their districts. Dahil, as investigations show right now, ang commissions na kinukuha nila dyan is 5 to 25%, minsan higher. So doon, based from that, then you can conduct a lifestyle check. You can go check their properties, talk to their, go to the SEC, go to the LRA and check the properties and the companies that they are engaged with. Yun, iba na yun. Iba na validation na ng lifestyle yun. Yun na yung lifestyle check there. Actually, wag na nating sabihin dito dahil malalaman nila kung ano checkin natin, di ba? Well, hindi ko na kaya ngayon yun. But then if you're an investigator, dapat alam mo yun.
Yun nga ho, ano, parang yun na nga po ang lumabas, no? Marami po nagpo-propose dito na bawasan yung for one DPWH budget ng about 25% kasi kung yun ang lumalabas na cut nitong mga politiko down the chain, pati na rin yung actually politicians yung 25% na yun, ano? Pero saan magsisimula? I mean, mukhang kung ganyan matatamaan po lahat kasi medyo madami-dami po yun, ano? Where does the ICI even begin?
Tama naman dapat naman talaga lahat naman may tama. That's what we see in the investigation. The legislative, the executive department, pati non-judiciary may tama dahil ang dami nang nabibiling mga courts. Dapat talaga lahat. At pagka sinuma mo total dito, baka bilang sa kamay ang maligtas sa pagpapayaman. That's why, wala dapat magmalinis dito Ang dapat ayusin ang sistema. The ICI, problematic po yan. It has no jurisdiction. It has no power. It lacks people. It's an independent commission that's very dependent on the president. Pati pera, budget, pati tao, pati lahat walang jurisdiction sa mga masterminds po yan. Ang investigation ngayon has revealed everything na umamin na mga contractor si Diskaya, nagturo na, tinuro na mga congressman, itinuro na mga district engineers, nag-resign na ang buong DPWH from secretary down to the district engineers. Yung mga congressman at mga senador na lang ang nababanggit ang hindi pa naiimbestigahan. Walang jurisdiction ng ICI po doon. Yung mga legislators na pupunta huron sa kanila are all but accommodation. Pag tinanggihan sila niyan, wala silang power to force them. They don't even have the power to send people to jail, to call, to cite anyone in contempt.
Pero hindi ho ba yung yung status dati ng Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, hindi rin kayo nagkaroon ng ganyang kapangyarihan. Kumbaga, nagpapasa din kayo ng recommendation sa Office of the Ombudsman nung panahon na yon. So, medyo pareho po yung setup. what would you
Mala-
recommend as the better way of pursuing these cases? Because the challenge is, at the end of the day, finding established links to the politicians, yung paper trail na madalas na iiwasan po at mabilis na ding i-deny dahil may mga middlemen na nagpapagalaw ho.
Kaya nga po, ang sinabi ko nung una pa, ang PACC dapat in-strengthen, hindi in-abolish. But it was abolished on the first executive order that was issued by the current president or by the president. Now, after 3 years, kikreate din pala sila ng ICI na mas mahina pa at mas kukonti pa ang kapangyarihan sa PACC. Kaya nung nabasa ko yung executive order, sabi ko, this is an office that is doomed to fail. It will not accomplish the task. That's why kailangan, sabi ko kanina, bigyan ng jurisdiction. It needs legislation. Bigyan ng jurisdiction, bigyan ng tunay na kapangyarihan, bigyan ng kapangyarihan on its own, to stand on its own, bigyan ng pondo. Example, ang pinag-uusapan natin na walang pera dito is 1.4 to 1.7 trillion pesos. Yun ang lumalabas ng mga confessions ng mga congressman at mga senador sa kanilang accounting. Ang ibinigay nilang pondo sa ICI, 20 million for this year. How will that fight 1.7 trillion to 20 million tas wala pang tao? So yun po ang point ko. We've been through it, we fought it. That's why when we were in office in PACC, we had nothing like this kasi may nagbabantay. Ngayon ibinalik nila pero mas maliit na walang jurisdiction. How will ICI investigate the masterminds? Wala nga silang jurisdiction sa masterminds. Hindi nga lahat yan isasampa nila sa korte. That's why sabi ko, dapat sila na mismo yun. You have to create legislation that will empower the ICI, stick it with the Office of the Ombudsman and open up the investigation. Yun ang pinakamalaking problema ng ICI, kaya hindi magtiwala ang tao dahil nakatago yung investigation. That's why I've been saying, balik nyo na sa Blue Ribbon Committee yan, yung Marcoleta-led Blue Ribbon Committee, dahil para matumbok-tumbok na. Dahil from the Marcoleta-led Blue Ribbon investigation, natumbok ang mga congressman, ang DPWH, ang contractor, tumbok na eh. Dapat mastermind na, pinagbanggit na lahat ng, binanggit na ang lahat ng mga congressman doon. Yung congressman, binanggit na yung presidente. Dapat ando na ang ating investigation. Wala na naman po ngayon. So, ito problema tayo.
Iyan nga po ang tawag ng taong bayan, na ito ay mabuksan muli sa publiko para for it to regain the trust. But going back to your time in the PACC ng 2021, nabanggit po ninyo na you were ready to file cases against high-ranking government officials, including a presidential appointee, for millions also lost to corruption in the pandemic. Pero may nagtatanong po, bakit hindi po ninyo naimbestigahan itong Farmally? Sabi nyo, kasi wala kayong jurisdiction, no? Tama ba ako, sa private companies? Pero hindi po ba ito ay government to private contract? Hindi po ba covered yan ng mandato ng PACC?
Na-imbestigahan po doon bigyan ko ng context, Mama. Pumasok yung Farmally pandemic. Okay? Yung report pumasok sa Blue Ribbon Committee, hindi o sa PACC dahil wala nga jurisdiction ang PACC. So whoever reported it went to the Blue Ribbon. Nag-imbestiga na po ang Blue Ribbon. Now, Blue Ribbon is the strongest and the highest after the Ombudsman. But for me, it is the strongest investigating body in the Philippines because it is open to the public that ang Ombudsman doesn't do. Ngayon, any investigator, pag nagsimula na ang Blue Ribbon Committee mag-imbestiga, manood ka na doon, makinig ka na at maglista dahil doon sa Blue Ribbon Committee, no holds barred doon. Walang jurisdiction limitation mo yun. Kahit former president, senators, congressman, lahat ng opisyal na hindi mo abot ng Blue Ribbon. And when you start yung gagawin mong investigation ng 10 buwan, baka sa isang buwan makuha mo lahat doon ng impormasyon, detalye, confession, admission, ebidensya na pwede mo nang isang pa sa korte kagad. So nung pumasok po ang Farmally, PACC was glued to the investigation, listing down ano ang atin dyan, sino natin dyan, si Lloyd Lau atin dyan, yung PSDBM, yung DOH atin dyan, yung family hindi atin yan, NBI yan, or DOJ, or Ombudsman, pwede yan. So that's what we did. But then, ano ang naging resulta no? Nakasuhan si Lloyd Lau, nakulong pa si Lloyd Lau, nakasuhan ng family. We took the investigations that we got from the Blue Ribbon Committee and filed cases. And ma'am, bigyan ko ng tamang information. The PACC filed 250 cases against high-ranking government officials. Si Secretary Duque, nakasuhan po namin yun. Yung DOH PhilHealth controversy, si BACC pong yung head doon at yung 20 board doon na si BACC because of the exposés and the report that PACC submitted both to the Blue Ribbon Committee in their investigations and to the President. Si BACC po lahat yun. And then, so, yan ang trabaho po ng PACC. And
Yung,
more.
ano po ang status ng mga kaso na yun at may naibalik po bang pondo?
Yun po ay wala na kaming saklaw. Ang amin pong kapangyarihan lamang ay makapag-file ng kaso, makapag-imbestiga at makapag-report sa Pangulo. Nasa korte po lahat yun. Kung gagawa ng isa pang anti-corruption office, o itong ICI hindi naman anti-corruption office yan eh. Infrastructure Commission, Investigation for Interest. So it's not even an anti-corruption office. It's really the office of the Ombudsman that Congress has to empower. I think bigyan nila ng yan ang bigyan pa ng mas malaking ipin, mas malaking pondo, tapos gawing open ang mga investigation, tapos ihiwalay na po yung national office sa local office para kasi when we were in PACC, nilagyan ho namin ng anti-corruption committees ang lahat ng government offices. So meron silang mga PACC na parang nag-iimbestiga doon within the organization. Kaya po ang corruption noon, bagsak na bagsak, yung talagang tagong-tago ang corruption na hindi zero, dahil hindi mo naman si zero ang corruption, pero it's not into this level na naririnig natin ngayon. Kahapon, lumabas.
Wala po ba kayong nung time ninyo as chairman ng PACC, wala po ba kayong naimbestigahan na kontraktor? Hindi po ba nakita na rin itong problemang ito? Kung, ganito po kalaki yan?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, papaalala ko po sa inyo, no? Si Pangulong Duterte, hindi lang kontraktor ang aming inimbestigahan. Wala kaming private company ang contractor. This was sent to the NBI. But the masterminds, the congressmen, the district engineers, siyampu na congressman yung pumasok sa investigasyon ng PACC na binasa at in-expose ni Pangulong Duterte at pinakasuhan kaagad sa amin na isinampa po namin kaagad sa DOJ. Shampoo yun. And then 14 na district engineer sinibak right after dun sa pagbasang ginawa ng Pangulo because involved na nga po sa corruption, sa kickback, sa rig na bidding. Noon pa namin nagawa yan. Yung contractors involved there, ipinasa rin po sa DOJ because it is a private company. So, noon pa yan, ma'am. At nung gawin po namin yon, kalaban, kakampi, makakahalo po doon. There were 9 congressmen, 3 were Liberal Party members, and 3 were PDP members na high-ranking. Kaya nung lumabas po the other 3 were parang, I think they were also independent na or something like that. But then, kaya nung lumabas yung report namin, everybody knew that this was not political, but talaga honest to goodness to. And then si BACC lahat, I remember si Secretary Mark Villar pa noon, right after the announcement of the President, that it came from our report. Sinabi niya ito, report ni Commissioner Belhica to, ng PACC. Sabi niya, right after that announcement, ito yung mga congressman, ito yung mga DE, sinibak kagad yun, relieve kagad sa posisyon, puro may kasko kagad yun. At those people who did not, and they did not fall in our jurisdiction were forwarded to the appropriate agency.
At kahapon po si Senator Trillanes nag-file po ng plunder and graft cases versus the former president and kay Senator Bongo related to for awarding billions of pesos worth of infrastructure projects to two firms, CLTG Builders pati yung Alfrego Builders, related to the father of Senator Bongo pati ang kanyang kapatid na related din naman daw sa flood control project sa Davao. What do you make of that? That was filed before the Ombudsman. Do you welcome that? How do you see this move by the senator?
Well, that's the third time I think he filed the same case. I think he filed that again. Filed that in 2019, 2021, and then 2025. Basta para pangatlong beses na niyang final yung kasong yan. At finally, dinala niya na sa ombudsman. So, okay naman yan. Nasa batas naman yan. Mag-imbestiga tayo. But my take on this, kung mag-iimbestiga tayo ng isa, dapat mag-imbestiga tayo ng lahat. Walang pilian. Dahil, flood control lang pinag-uusapan dito ngayon. Biglang ang layo ng talon doon na sa 2016, 2017, 2018. And flood control scandal, nagsimula yan 2022, 23, 24, 25. Biglang ibabalik nyo sa 2016. Okay, we know this is politics. Alam natin that this is government playbook na pagka may problema ang administrasyon, isusisiro sa nakalang administrasyon. But fine, sa akin nasa batas yan, mag-imbestiga tayo. Pero mag-imbestiga tayo lahat ng senador, lahat ng congressman, lahat ng opisyal na napasok sa korupsyon, lalo na sa flood control. Imbestigahan natin, sabay-sabay sa Blue Ribbon Committee, sabay-sabay. Kasi, ma'am, merong master list. Hawak ng DPWH, ng DBM, Blue Ribbon Committee, at dapat meron din ng ICI. Merong master list ng lahat ng congressman, senador at distrito na merong flood control projects. Doon tayo magsimula.
Yung Alfrego actually had 5 flood control projects sa Davao del Sur. At nandun po yun sa sumbong sa Pangulo website. I guess gugulong na po yun. Pero bilang final question po sa inyo, kayo po ba ay tiwala dito kay Senator Ping Lacson kung siya po ay ma-reinstate as Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman? Pati na rin sa ginagawa po ni bagong Ombudsman Boying Remulla ang kanyang pagbabalik ng pagbubukas nitong mga SALN.
Well, maganda yung expose ni Senator Ping. It's well done. Pero yung pagpapatakbo at yung inabot ng Blue Ribbon Committee, mas maganda yung patakbo ni Senator Marcoleta. Dahil I remember, parang tatlong hearing pa lang, tumbok na kaagad ang mga mastermind, mga congressmen. Tinuro na kaagad yung matataas na opisyal. In fact, tumuga na nga si Zaldi ko na bakit ako lang pinirma ng presidente at pinindara ng kongreso. So, tumbok na until it changed. Pagdating kay Senator Lacson, hindi naman na-pick up from where it left. Meron ng ibang mga senador na tinuturo. Still fine with me. O di, imbestagahan na rin natin mga senador. Pero yung direksyon ng investigation during Marcoleta mas malinaw, mas mabilis, mas maganda. Doon talaga lumabas lahat. So I wish na na ibalik kay Senator Marcoleta ang investigation ng chairmanship ng Blue Ribbon for the sake of truth and justice. May si Ombudsman Boying naman is a capable lawyer, magaling pong lawyer yan, and I cannot judge him right now dahil nagsisimula pa lang siya. Pero kung abilidad, kaya niya po yan. Kung capability, kaya ng ombudsman yan. Ang problema ko lang talaga, sana gawin din ng ombudsman yung lahatan talaga. Or sana po ang investigation ng flood control gawing open dahil gustong marinig ng taong bayan to. In fact, I think it was you, Ma'am Gretchen, a celebrity who went out abroad tas ayaw palitan yung pera dahil flood control money raw paggaling sa Pilipinas.
My mom.
Yes. Kayo po nabilita akong pangalan. But then, yun po yung sabi ko, this is not only parang national concern. This is an international scandal already. So, all the more, kailangan maging open to the public dahil the whole world is watching. Ma'am, flood control pa lang to. Meron pa kahapon na DepEd. Meron pang, ang dami pa, meron pang DNR daw. So this is really a tip of the iceberg na sana, wag mahaluan. I mean, nahaluan na nadadivert na kung saan ang issue na sana yung sa
Correct.
totoo lang, malaman ng tao ang totoo. You make it an open investigation.
We are one with you in looking for accountability and justice for all. Maraming salamat po for joining us today and for telling us all about your time working with the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission. We have former Chairman Greco Belhica. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to everyone.
Up next, motorists can now use a single RFID system for all major Luzon tollways. This after San Miguel Corporation Infrastructure and Metro Pacific Tollways have completed the One RFID integration program. More details on that when Morning Matters returns. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here in One News. The Bureau of Customs has assured the public that it is already implementing internal reforms. This comes following a U.S. government report that identified it as one of the most corrupt agencies in the Philippines. Customs Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno said the Bureau will face the concerns raised by the U.S. Department of State with resolve, not resistance. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Customs will auction off 13 luxury vehicles owned by contractors Curly and Sara Discaya. The ICI said they were informed by Nepomuceno that the vehicles lacked proper import documents, giving the BOC the authority to sell them through public auction. And joining us today to tell us more about the latest developments, we have BOC spokesperson Attorney Chris Bendijo. Magandang umaga. Welcome to Morning Matters.
I'm Gretchen. Good morning.
Una-una, siguro hingi lang po tayo ng konting update dito sa seizures, no? Dito sa mga contractor po natin. 13 vehicles to be auctioned. Is there more? Are the videos revealing more? At bakit 13 lamang nasasakyan? And also, I just wanted to understand, no? Ganun po ba yun kapag hindi nagbayad ng mga duties, maaari na talagang kunin ng BOC?
Sige ma'am. The reason why 13, meron po tayong list A, no? Ito po yung 7 luxury vehicles of the Discayas. These were found to have no import entries and no certificates of payment. Yung list B naman, itong 6, meron pong import entry but it does not have or would have fraudulent certificates of payment. That's why these 13 were issued warrants of seizure and detention by the Port of Manila. Now, to your question, kung hindi nagbayad ng buwis, it will depend po, no? Meron po tayong threshold na 30%. If there's a deviation of more than 30% doon sa actual duties and taxes that was supposed to be paid, it is subject to automatic seizure by our government, no? But if less than that, between 10 to 30%, there is a fine and surcharge to be imposed also, hindi automatic yung seizure. And then less than 10%, you are allowed to pay the deficiency. So that's the reason why only 13 are subjected to this warrant of seizure and detention. And for updates, tomorrow, October 23, will be the final day for submission of position paper, and then the matter will be submitted for decision already.
So 13 up for seizure, pero ilan po yung mafa-fine or nakasama po dun sa hindi po kulang ng papeles?
Of the 13, 7 do not have import entries and do not have certificates of payment. So ito po automatic talagang forfeiture po ito, no? Yung 6 naman po, meron pong discrepancy, no? Meron pong tax discrepancy dito in the average of 60%, no?
Wow.
Yung discrepancy sa taxes to be paid. That's why it was also subjected to warrant of seizure and detention. Nagkaroon na po tayo ng unang hearing noong October 9. Nagpadala po ng representative yung mga Discaya. At yun nga po, submission na po ng position paper tomorrow, and then it will be decided by the BOC already.
Oo. And then, kailan po yung auction? I mean, when is the proposed date? And will you open this to all?
Yes, that's the intention of the commissioner, no? The target date would be the start or probably mid-November, no? Yan po yung start ng ating auction process. There's a committee kasi that will decide pa the floor price, no? So that will be the landed cost as a minimum floor price, less a maximum of 10% depreciation. So by mid-November, yun po yung tinatarget nating petsa. That's assuming, of course, no? Na maging final na yung decision. Doon sa 7, we are doubtful na magkakaroon pa ito ng apila, no, mula sa Diskaya kasi talagang kulang ang dokumento. Doon sa 6, we are waiting for their position paper kung ano yung kanilang i-release dito. But assuming everything will be final, we can start the process by mid-November kasi going back to what Justice Reyes said, no, during our ICI meeting, justice is not enough, no? Restitution is needed, and hopefully we can be part of that start of restitution.
Pero natuntun niyo po ba ang lahat ng mga sasakyan dito sa mga video ng mga Diskaya? Because I remember there was parang some hulabaloo over that na meron ibang missing cars already. And there were videos that came out recently. I think it was Miss Carla Abelian who posted na ito yung video po of the garage. So nakita niyo po ba lahat? Dineclare po ito lahat, pinakita sa inyo yung mga papeles?
Yes, if you'll remember, the total number of vehicles that were sealed by the BOC was 30, no? 30. And then upon inspection of the papers, ito nga pong 13 ang problematic. But after our meeting with the ICI, we were instructed to also hold, no, yung remaining na 17 because it's part of their investigation, it's part of their process as well. And we are also in receipt of a notice of distraint and levy from the BIR asking us also, no, to hold itong remaining 17 which are being subjected naman to post-clearance audit. The distinction between that process naman, ma'am, ibig pong sabihin, nandyan po yung import entry, nandyan po yung certificate of payment itong 17 ito. Ang tinitingnan lang po kung akma po ba yung pagkakaklasify noong buwis na binayaran po. Kaya po siya post-clearance audit.
Okay, so yung when you say hold, it means the car is in your jurisdiction. Wala po dun sa garahe po nila.
It's yung pong 17 ay nasa garahe po ng Diskaya, pero ito po ay may selyo ng BOC, no? Yung pong 13, ito naman po yung nahila na natin. They're already in the BOC compound in the Port of Manila.
Okay. And talking more about the whole scope of this partnership with the ICI, is this going to be your role moving forward? Ano po nakikita po ninyong magiging papel ng BOC dito sa mga investigasyon?
Well, it also we also have to put a reminder, no, as to the jurisdiction of the BOC because it's not our mandate really for to run after ill-gotten wealth, no, as a general purpose. But rather, what our participation can be would be to check importations of luxury vehicles, for instance, no. Lahat po ng dadaan sa importation process would fall within our power, within our mandate to check. That's why probably that would be our participation insofar as the ICI is concerned. If there are reports of luxurious vehicles owned by personalities involved in the flood control scandal, the BOC can check on that. And with our recent MOA signing with LTO yesterday, I think we are more empowered to do that more effectively.
So mainly sa sasakyan po ang maaari niyong habulin. Wala na po bang ibang klaseng asset?
Well, during the ICI meeting, no, it was participated in by several other agencies, no. Nandun din po yung PACC, andun din po yung Marina. But again, even these vehicles would undergo importation process. So it's a collaboration. It's a whole of government approach. So
Air
if there are
assets,
identified air assets, water assets, we can still check yung importation process po ng mga ito.
Okay. So air assets and sea, marine assets. Okay. And alam po natin na ito po ay hindi makakapasok, no? Kung wala pong pumayag within the agency, meron na po ba kayong tinitignan dito na maaaring mapanagot within the Bureau of Customs?
Yes, Ma'am Gretchen, Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno issued, I think, more than 12 show cause orders this is addressed to our BOC officials, no, and employees who, based on documentation, would appear to have participated in the importation of these luxurious vehicles. No? So nakapag-issue na po tayo ng show cause order. To my understanding, last week po nakapag-submit na rin po sila ng kanilang mga paliwanag. So it will undergo the process. But knowing Commissioner Ariel po, alam niyo naman po doon, no? ang patakaran po niya, no sacred cows. And again, because of the perception of BOC, talagang we want to restore public trust, kaya talagang accountability would be the tune of our administration.
And ito pong show cause orders will be, next week will be tackled.
We're waiting for the, kasi may po ito, may administrative process po ito. So the explanations of these employees and officials will be evaluated. And of course, if the documents, if the evidence would still put accountability on their part, then we will impose the necessary disciplinary action.
Will you also be sanctioning the store or the shop that sold these vehicles?
Yes, ma'am. We also issued show cause orders to yung mga car dealerships, no? Nagpasok ng mga sasakyang ito. In fact, one of the car dealerships that we issued, we were notified that suspended na po yung license way back 2023, if I'm not mistaken. So we also issued show cause orders to them. And again, depending on their evaluation, we will pursue it. No? Talaga pong charges for unlawful importation will be prepared.
Bale, ilang dealerships ang titignan po natin dito?
I think I'll get that figure back, no, pero I think more than 5 po yung nasa initial report po natin.
Okay, and I asked this because the U.S. State Department has tagged the Bureau of Customs as one of the most corrupt agencies in the Philippines. What specific reforms are going to be implemented under the watch of the new Commissioner, Ariel Nepomuceno?
First, Ma'am Gretchen, thank you for pointing that out. The new commissioner, si Commissioner Ariel was just appointed July of this year. No? So we're basically just a little over 3 months into the job. But what we'd like to highlight is this. No? From the start of July until prior the release of the report of the U.S. State Department, we had already issued several memoranda. No? Day 1 po namin, we suspended the implementation of the letters of authority and mission orders because there were reports that these were being used to harass legitimate businesses. No? We also have the anti-conflict of interest policy. We have a business disclosure policy, which means all employees of the BOC are supposed to disclose if they have business affiliations with businesses that transact with the Bureau of Customs. We have emphasized our no-take policy. We have made the condemnation process. Ito po yung nagsisira ng mga forfeited items. No? We have made that live stream, fully recorded and to be published. No? What we're trying to emphasize is that we're moving towards transparency even before lumabas itong report ng U.S. State Department. So, as a result, we wrote them letters, no, sa ating U.S. ambassador to have a dialogue with their commercial attaché. We wrote a letter as well to the American Chamber of Commerce so that we can sit down with them. We can mailatag naman po namin, no, and hopefully mapagbigyan din po si Commissioner Ariel na ma-introduce itong reforms, itong transformation ng Bureau of Customs that we are really planning to do and implement so that we can regain public trust.
And one of the issues brought up by not just the U.S. State Department, but I remember in a viral post before, yung paiba-iba na mga customs fees. Is there any plan to streamline this para kumbaga parang mas maging less porous po yung ating ahensya?
Well, what we can say to that, Ma'am Gretchen, we can look at it from a short-term perspective and a long-term perspective. No? In the long term, talagang the plan is to digitalize, fully automate, because through technology, especially with AI, no, we can dispense with human intervention, we can dispense with the exercise of discretion, kasi these are opportunities for corruption. Kaya siya nagkakaroon ng iba-ibang pricing, kaya siya nagkakaroon ng ganyan, is because that's where the negotiation begins. No? Diyan na pumapasok yung ability to sort of harass, no? To leverage para ma-facilitate yung transaction. So, in the long run, talagang technology will address this. No? What's good is that we already have identified yung mga phase 1 natin, no? An upgrade to our CPS system, yung pong ating mga payment portals. No? We are upgrading these so that when you transact with the Bureau, it's not really a matter of discretion, but it's predetermined by technology. What are the duties to be paid, and it's supposed to be consistent. Now, in the short term, we have all of these policies, no? And we'll be launching even a similar program dun sa isumbong sa Pangulo. We'll be launching something similar so that we can police, no? We want to empower our stakeholders that this is the time for transformation of the Bureau. There is, you have your cell phones, record any employee of the BOC who will be requesting for fees beyond what is being required by law. No? So talagang hopefully in the long run, magsalubong ito, we would reach a point that there is transformation from within, a change of mindset, a change of culture, until we reach that point that we are able to procure itong ating technology so that eventually talagang mawawala na po yung human interference, and that will really address both corruption and of course better collection.
And we have less than 3 years to achieve all of that. Are you seeing any resistance, internal resistance to the reforms? We know mahirap po itong gagawin po ninyo, ginagawa po ninyo, lalo na kung corruption po ang sinusubukan nating supuin.
Well, even as we approached this, no, from the very first instance, it was just really plagued with a series of what we call unfortunate events. No, there was a case filed way back in 2015. 10 years ago na po ito, no. Meron pong na-issueng TRO kung kaya't hindi po nakapag-upgrade ang BOC. But fortunately, nung pumasok na po si Commissioner Ariel, yun pong nagreklamo noon, no, is part of the PPP proposal. And hopefully this would start the ball rolling. No? I hope it gains traction because like what you said, less than 3 years to implement all of these. No? Medyo suntok sa buwan. But hopefully we can start it. No? Again, in the long term, talaga pong technology ang kailangan nating habulin because 10 years have passed. We have not upgraded any system. Yung existing system natin, nabibilaukan na po. No? Hindi na po kinakaya yung talagang load ng ating mga transactions, ng ating mga stakeholders. So really, we need that upgrade. And in the long run, like what I said, it's really digitalization, full automation of the processes that will remove opportunities for corruption.
And hopefully, this could be the legacy of the good Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno and your team over there at the Bureau of Customs, streamlining and digitalizing, implementing reforms that are badly needed within the Customs Agency. Maraming salamat po for joining us today and for giving us the latest developments on the BOC and the ICI, and as well as your response to this latest pronouncement by the U.S. State Department. We have Attorney Chris Bendijo from the Bureau of Customs.
Thank you for the opportunity. Good morning.
And speaking of streamlining, motorists can now use a single RFID system to access all major tollways in Luzon after San Miguel Corporation Infrastructure and Metro Pacific Tollways have completed the One RFID integration program. President Bongbong Marcos led the launch, joined by MPTC Chairman Manny V. Pangilinan and SMC Infrastructure President Ramon Ang. The system links SMC's AutoSweep and MPTC's Easy Trip, allowing one RFID tag and account to work across expressways such as NLEX, SLEX, Skyway, TPLEX, SCTEX, Cavitex, Calax, MCX, and Star Tollway. SMC and MPTC said the initiative will streamline toll collection and improve efficiency, with efforts now focused on making one RFID registration more accessible.
Ang reformang ito sa RFID system ay bahagi ng mas malawak nating layunin na gawing mas moderno, konektado, at nakatuon sa pangangailangan ng bawat Pilipino ang ating infrastruktura.
Took a while, that's true, about 8 years, so but finally here, and I think we should be grateful to Ramon and San Miguel for their utmost cooperation in this linkage. With government help, it got the push that it needed, no? Kasi previous years, medyo matumal ang mga support.
Yes, sir.
And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you the right start to your morning. Let's go ahead and make the day matter. My name is Gretchen Ho. Kapatid, we are one news, all sides, all the time.